Most people think they understand their fears. They're afraid of heights, spiders, failure, public speaking, the usual things. But the fears that shape your life the most are rarely the obvious ones. In fact, many of the decisions you make every day are influenced by fears you don't even realize you have. The job you didn't apply for, the conversation you avoided, the opportunity you ignored, the dream you postponed. Often, the real reason isn't logic. It's fear, hidden fear. And because these fears operate quietly in the background, they can control your life without you ever noticing. Today, we're uncovering the hidden fears that influence human behavior and exploring how they affect the choices people make every single day. Because sometimes the biggest obstacle in your life isn't the world around you, it's the fear inside your own mind. 1. The fear of rejection. Humans are social creatures. For thousands of years, being rejected by a group could mean losing protection, resources, and even survival itself. That ancient fear still exists today. It's why people hesitate to introduce themselves, ask someone out, share an opinion, apply for opportunities. The possibility of hearing no feels far more painful than most people expect. What's fascinating is that many individuals don't avoid failure. They avoid rejection. Because rejection feels personal. The fear isn't losing. The fear is not being accepted. 2. The fear of failure. This fear prevents countless dreams from ever leaving the starting line. People imagine the embarrassment, the criticism, the disappointment, and decide not to try at all. The strange thing is that failure often teaches more than success. Successful people aren't fearless. They simply view failure differently. Instead of treating it as proof of inadequacy, they treat it as information. But when fear of failure takes control, even small risks begin feeling dangerous. And eventually, avoiding failure becomes more important than pursuing success. 3. The fear of success. This one surprises many people. How could someone fear success? Because success creates change, and change creates uncertainty. Imagine achieving a major goal. Now expectations increase, responsibility increases, visibility increases. Some people subconsciously avoid success because they're afraid of what comes next. The promotion, the attention, the pressure. It's easier to remain where things feel familiar than step into the unknown, even when the unknown is positive. 4. The fear of judgment. Every day, millions of people alter their behavior because of what others might think. They dress differently, speak differently, act differently, not because they want to, because they fear judgment. The ironic part? Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to spend much time judging others. Yet fear convinces us otherwise. This fear often becomes strongest when pursuing goals that stand out from the crowd. Starting a business, creating content, changing careers. The fear isn't necessarily failure, it's being seen trying. 5. The fear of being alone. Loneliness is one of the most powerful emotional experiences humans can feel. As a result, many people stay in situations that make them unhappy simply to avoid being alone. Unhealthy friendships, toxic relationships, unsatisfying environments. The discomfort feels familiar. Loneliness feels uncertain. And human beings often choose familiar pain over unfamiliar uncertainty. The problem is that avoiding loneliness can sometimes create even greater unhappiness, because being surrounded by the wrong people isn't the same as genuine connection. 6. The fear of missing out. Modern technology has amplified this fear dramatically. Every day, social media shows people traveling, celebrating, succeeding, experiencing life. Meanwhile, you're sitting at home wondering if you're falling behind. Fear of missing out, often called FOMO, creates a constant feeling that something better is happening elsewhere. The result? Difficulty appreciating the present. No matter what you're doing, another option always seems more exciting. This fear doesn't just steal attention, it steals satisfaction, because happiness becomes impossible when you're always looking somewhere else. 7. The fear of uncertainty. The human brain loves predictability. It wants answers, plans, certainty. But life rarely provides those things. No one knows exactly what tomorrow brings. Yet, some people struggle with uncertainty far more than others. They constantly seek guarantees, perfect plans, absolute certainty. The problem is that certainty rarely exists. Many opportunities require moving forward without knowing exactly how things will turn out. People controlled by this fear often become trapped in endless preparation, waiting for certainty that never arrives. 8. The fear of not being good enough. This fear hides behind perfectionism, comparison, self-doubt, and procrastination. Many people secretly believe they aren't smart enough, talented enough, attractive enough, successful enough. The evidence often says otherwise, but fear doesn't always care about evidence. This hidden belief can quietly shape careers, relationships, and ambitions. Because when someone believes they're not enough, they often avoid situations that might challenge that belief. The fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. 9. The fear of losing control. Life is unpredictable. People leave. Plans fail. Unexpected events happen. Some individuals struggle deeply with this reality. They attempt to control every detail, every outcome, every possibility. At first, this may look responsible, but taken too far, it becomes exhausting. The need for control often creates anxiety because reality refuses to cooperate. The more tightly someone tries to control life, the more frustrated they become when life behaves like life, which is to say, unpredictably. 10. The fear beneath all. Fears. Many psychologists believe that numerous fears share a common foundation: the fear of uncertainty, the fear of loss, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure. At their core, many fears revolve around one uncomfortable reality: the future cannot be fully controlled. And human beings don't like that. Yet something interesting happens when people confront fear directly. Its power often shrinks, not because fear disappears, because understanding replaces imagination, and reality is often less frightening than the stories fear creates. Hidden fears influence far more decisions than most people realize. They shape careers, relationships, habits, dreams, and sometimes entire lives. The challenge is that fear rarely announces itself. It disguises itself as caution, logic, practicality, or waiting for the perfect moment. But once you recognize these fears, something changes. You begin separating genuine danger from imagined limitations. And that's where freedom starts. Not when fear disappears, but when fear no longer controls the choices you make. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and turn on notifications for more insights into psychology, human behavior, and the hidden forces shaping our lives.